What is up, duelists? Arts and Crafts here, once again bringing you your daily dose of Yu-Gi-Oh! Goat format action. Today's feature match, we got Goat the Spicy versus Mexican Stallion. As always, both players rated in the top 200 of the Duelingbook Goat format ladder. At the time this match was played, let's hop right into it. Looks like Goat the Spicy is going to win that RPS. And we'll choose to go first. They're going to lead out with a classic set monster with a couple back row. No Trinity to start, but not the end of the world. Still a decent play. Mexican Stallion is going to follow up with, set Sinister Serpent into a Metamorphosis, so confirming that they're likely on some sort of control deck. Meta is played in non-control decks like Reasoning Gate sometimes, but those decks generally don't like Sinister Serpent too much, so I think you can pretty safely say that Mexican Stallion is running either Goat Control or Chaos Control at this point in time, and they are clearly worried about this set monster, so going to see this Thousand Eyes Restrict come through and suck it up. And that will come through. Looks like they saw a Golem Sentry. Really interesting. Okay. A card that was an interesting tech choice in Turbo maybe like 2 years, a year and a half ago. Kind of fell out of favor. People tested it, thought it had potential, but it ended up not really settling on being a permanent meta presence. But definitely a playable card in Goat format. So interested to see it coming through here from Goat the Spicy. Interested to see exactly what that might be running. But Golem Sentry is the card that is revealed here. On this Thousand Eyes Restrict activation. Mexican Stallion, of course, not really having any threats here. Already used their normal summon. Has a 0 attack power monster locking down the board. But eliminating the early threat out of Goat the Spicy. Adding a couple back row. Not a bad start. See if Goat the Spicy has any follow-up here. We're going to go Upstart Goblin. Cool. Into just set a monster pass. Definitely a pretty safe play. Unless Mexican Stallion has like Tsukuyomi or something. But that has not been revealed yet. See, going to recur that Sinister Serpent. Does play into Trap, does shoot, but neither of these sets are new, I think. So, totally fine. Mexican Stallion's just going to add a set monster here, pass. Thousand Eyes Restrict has obviously a pretty relevant floodgate effects that causes these sorts of stalemates pretty early on in the match, often. So, just in a little bit of stalemate action here for both players. See who blinks first. Got the Spicy. Okay, we're going to see Thunder Dragon coming out here, so could just be Chaos Turbo running main deck Golem Sentry, like I was saying before, is a potential tech card in the deck. Confirming that they are on Chaos, though, with this Thunder Dragon coming through. And then they're going to go Tribute Set a Monster, likely is one of those Thunder Dragons, getting Sangan in the Grave, which does turn on Chaos there, so Thunder Dragon being a pretty high-impact card here. Getting them a vehicle to get both light and dark in the grave at the same time for free, right? The Thunder Dragon hits the grave and then immediately replaces itself, +1. And Sangan here, you can use as tribute fodder, and then that floats as well. So this is basically getting a Sangan search and getting Chaos Online basically for free. One of the stronger things that Chaos Turbo can do to really set up their plays. Sangan search here is going to be Sinister Serpent, which is interesting because something like Tsukuyomi is, of course, very solid to deal with Thousand Eyes, because it can flip it face down, turning off the floodgate effects. But potentially Got the Spicy definitely is likely setting up Chaos intentionally here. Maybe we'll see a Chaos monster come down and banish the Thousand Eyes so they don't actually need the Tsukuyomi effect to do that. Firing off Graceful Charity, that is another reason why you would grab Sinister Serpent, just to get some discard fodder in the hand for the Graceful. This is going to resolve. They're going to discard a Thunder Dragon and a Sinister Serpent. So very, very solid time to have the Graceful when you've activated Thunder Dragon and you've grabbed a Sinister Serpent. So really nice advantage here for Go the Spicy, getting tons and tons of value off of their first Trinity piece of the game. Finds another Upstart Goblin, so really churning through quite quickly. And just going to pass, though. So letting the Thousand Eyes stick around. So prioritizing grabbing the Sinister for more value over getting an actual out to the Thousand Eyes. They do have Chaos set up, but choosing not to go for it now, definitely totally fine. You are up a good amount of cards. You can always answer it later. Just getting your value here is pretty nice. Mexican Stallion, what's the play? We're going to go MST on a back row, so potentially setting up for a play. It's going to be Scapegoat. Okay, so Goat the Spicy seems to be playing Chaos Control here with a main deck Golem Sentry. That's pretty interesting. We're going to get Scapegoat chained here, fill up the board with Goat tokens. Goat locking themselves, but pretty early on in the game. Probably nothing in the world. Mexican Stallion just going to pass there, saying there's, you know what, I poked for some back row, but not going to see anything That makes me want to get aggressive here. So we're just kind of chilling. And now we're even in a bigger stalemate mode here with Goat the Spicy, unable at this point in time to add any monsters to the board. We, of course, are pretty certain that this set monster is the final Thunder Dragon. But I guess technically not guaranteed. Goat the Spicy has shown that they like playing weird stuff like Golem Sentry. So it could be something cool. Sinister, come back to hand. We're going to go Book of Moon on the Thousand Eyes. So didn't need the Tsukiyomi, had the same exact effect, just in the form of a spell card. And now, looking to, I mean, you can just go flip summon Thunder Dragon, pop the Thousand Eyes, or kill the Thousand Eyes is probably the idea here. We're going to go, ooh, interesting. So we're going to get tokens in attack position, turning 2 here, I guess, in case there's like Raigeki Break potentially, or maybe wants to crash tokens into each other to clear up a monster zone. Definitely could be the play. Creature swap will resolve. Mexican Stallion hands over the Thousand Eyes. Cool. So that's actually a pretty nice card that Goat the Spicy will have access to from now on. So nice high value creature swap there. Now we can go crash the Goat tokens, Thousand Eyes, kill the set monster is potentially the idea. We're just going to crash the Goat tokens. Yeah, well, I guess we'll see. Goat tokens crash, Thousand Eyes poke the set. Is Magician of Faith. Interested to see. I mean, we know Mexican Stallion has Sinister in hand as fuel for the Metamorphosis, so wouldn't be surprised to see that be the card that's grabbed. And that is what we're going to see. And then main phase 2, just going to set a back row, leaving the Thousand Eyes face down, so doesn't want to floodgate their own stuff. Wants to keep this Thunder Dragon here to apply pressure. Goat the Spicy, of course, knows that there is a little bit of meta for Thousand Eyes action here coming through from Mexican Stallion potentially, but likely having some back row here to make that a little bit more risky for the opponent. See exactly how Mexican Stallion chooses to go about this. We're going to go normal summon Sinister, try and attack and kill the Thousand Eyes. That's an interesting choice. We're just going to ring the Sinister. Wow, so that's a nice little +1 there for Mexican Stallion. Threatening to kill the Thousand Eyes very safely with the Sinister, and the ring is going to come out. This is a nice tempo win for Goat the Spicy, because now like meta isn't live this turn anymore. And the Thunder Dragon will stick around to beat in. The Mexican Stallion has all the time in the world. They've got 10,000 life points. So the tempo plays aren't really going to get too much value at this point of time. And this is the start of them kind of grinding back into this game, I feel like, despite, Goat the Spicy getting some solid value earlier with the creature swap, with the graceful plus TD plus Sinister combo. Pretty solid play there for Mexican Stallion, forcing out that ring. Just going to add a back row pass, but can just do the same thing next turn. Goat the Spicy is going to try to get in for 16 here. That's going to be allowed, but Mexican Stallion's still at 8,100 life, so totally fine. You can afford to take these hits. And now we're going to go main phase 2, flip summon the Thousand Eyes. So I guess Goat the Spicy was not respecting the potential for normal summon Sinister last turn and kept the Thousand Eyes face down. But now that it's face up, the Sinister isn't as much of a threat, of course. Maybe now this is when Mexican Stallion will choose to go for the meta for Thousand Eyes play, now that they can't just beat over the threats. Sinister come back to hand, of course. We're going to normal, and then we're going to go snatch the Thousand Eyes to steal the Thunder Dragon. Interesting. Okay. Not sure entirely what the normal summon Sinister play was there for. Maybe forgetting that you couldn't go attack there. But now they do have a nice big threat here with the Thousand Eyes stealing the Thunder Dragon. They'll start whittling away at the last remaining Goat tokens from Goat Spicy. And they'll pass turn. This is a lot of turns for Goat Spicy to be gaining life, though. Goat token's doing a good job of walling out the singleton threat. And they'll be able to gain 1,000 life every time. Duo's going to come through here for Goat the Spicy. Catching the opponent with the Sinister out of their hand is a very good time to use that, of course. See what they snag. They hit a Dark Magician of Chaos. Wow, so actually Mexican Stallion probably saying, you know what, that's maybe fine. Oh, maybe that's what they were setting up for. Were we setting up for Tribute Summon for Demok using Thousand Eyes and Sinister Serpent as the fodder? That'd be kind of cool. But it's just going to hit the grave here to be potential... I assume if you're running Demok, you're probably running at least Premature Burial. So it's actually not the end of the world that it's in the grave for Mexican Stallion. But the play that they were potentially setting up for has been dealt with here. And I guess if the play was to go for this Tribute Summon, The normal summon Sinister makes a little bit more sense because you haven't seen any Nobleman of Crossouts yet out of Goat the Spicy. So if you actually want it to stick around to act as tribute fodder, you want to have it face up so they can't just banish it with knock. Oh, and then Cyberjar is going to hit the grave here as well. This does turn on Chaos for Mexican Stallion, but we're not guaranteed that they're running any of that. I mean, this deck likely plays at least BLS, but we haven't seen any Thunder Dragons, so not sure if like there are Chaos Sorcerers in here as well. Either way, pretty high value duo. Hitting a couple big cards, potentially messing with the play that Mexican Stallion was going for. And now the Snatch Steal might stick around. My guess was the plan with the Snatch Steal was, yeah, you can like steal the Thunder Dragon, kill a Goat token, and the next turn go for the Tribute Summon play. So the Snatch doesn't stick around and continue to gain Goat the Spicy life. But now with the Demock out of hand, they're going to need to find another way to, deal with their own Snatch Steal, basically. Set monster there for Goat the Spicy. Cool. Oh, we've got Book of Moon. Okay, interesting. So that gets rid of... This is a nifty Book of Moon. Not only does it kill the Snatch Steal, so you just keep your Thousand Eyes here permanently. It also removes the Thunder Dragon, so you can flip this face up and then steal the set card. So nice play there for Mexican Stallion, getting a lot of value out of Book. Very versatile card, of course, in the format. Battle phase first. Serpent can kill the last token, and then main phase 2, Thousand Eyes can suck in the set. I like it. And then set a monster pass. Let's Spicy. Just going to set a monster here. If there was like Tsukuyomi used instead of Book of Moon, you probably don't set something here. But obviously, this card is not reusable to continue to allow the Thousand Eyes to suck every turn. So just getting something in the way here definitely makes sense. A little bit of a stalemate here once more. Thousand Eyes doing what it does best. See who blinks first. We're going to get Knock on the set. Okay, so Goat the Spicy confirmed running Spies in Chaos Control, which is pretty standard. Looks like they're just running the 2 copies, or they have a third in hand. Mexican Stallion not on any copies of Spy, so maybe a little bit more of a pure control list out of them. Goat the Spicy will draw for turn, pass. Still a little bit of stalemate here, just because the monster is gone. Mexican Stallion doesn't have any offense here, of course, because it is still a 0 attack. Thousand Eyes restrict, of course. Oh, it looks like they sucked in another Golem Sentry. So double Golem Sentry in the main deck here for Goat the Spicy is pretty cool, but we won't see either of them get used here. Because Thousand Eyes is just gobbling them up. Goat the Spicy is at a pretty big hand size. We're going to go Breaker, pop the back row. Getting a nice little plus there, because the Scapegoat could not be chained. And although this could be interesting, because Mexican Stallion could just crash the Thousand Eyes into the Breaker and then suck it in, but at least it would have traded 1 for 1 in that scenario, so maybe not the end of the world. However, it does give Thousand Eyes actual real attack power to pressure you. Now, Goat the Spicy did have to play a card just to not have to discard for hand size. I mean, but they could have just discarded Sinister and been fine. So not sure if you really needed to go lead out with this Breaker to give Mexican Stallion a threat. Seemed kind of unnecessary. And we'll see if it'll come back to bite them. Let's see. Just going to add a back row. So we're actually not going to go for that play. A little bit interesting. I feel like that would have made sense, right? But I guess it's fine. Goat the Spicy has to set stuff to not discard, of course. Pot of Greed out of Mexican Stallion. Not bad. We're going to get Call of the Haunted on the Demock. Yeah, so they are playing the Resurrection cards. Demock's going to come out. You can go regrab potentially Pot of Greed. You could regrab Book of Moon to reset your Thousand Eyes. Either way, Call on Demock, a very, very strong play. But we're going to get Royal Decree here out of Goat the Spicy. So this is Chaos Control maining Royal Decree, which is definitely possible. It is generally a very trap-light deck. The only other one we've seen so far is Ring, which is pretty non-negotiable in most Goat lists. But Decree here coming through to negate the Call of the Haunted and prevent Demock from hitting the board is a pretty important play. Good stuff there out of Goat the Spicy. Mexican Stallion is just going to follow up with a set monster and a back row. And neither player really making too much progress here. Thousand Eyes just basically stalling things out. Now, maybe Mexican Stallion is fine with this because they're winning the deck out war, potentially. Okay, we're going to get Knock on the new set, which was Magician of Faith. Mexican Stallion is running Triple Faith in their deck. So Triple Faith plus Demock, really into recurring all of their good spell cards, you know? I guess at this point, this has to be like Goat Control, right? Probably not Chaos Control. Likely running a singleton BLS, but probably not the Chaos Sorcerers. You probably don't have room for it if you're running Demok and the Resurrection cards, as well as Triple Faith and Cyberjar and stuff like that. So Triple Faith here confirmed for Mexican Stallion. Goat the Spicy going to banish 2 copies of Faith of their own. Unlikely to see the third, especially in Chaos Control, where space is generally limited because it's a mashup deck, right? So likely neither player will be able to deploy Magician of Faith for the rest of the game. Both players have Chaos Engrave already, though, so not really going to matter from a light count perspective, probably. But it is obviously a very high impact card, especially later in the game. Mexican Stallion is going to go set a back row pass. Still just in a stalemate here. We're going to knock the new set. It is DD Warrior Lady, pretty common Goat Control card. And we're just chilling. Do we have anything? Goat the Spicy. Obviously, they do lose the deck out war, so onus is on them. We're going to go Snatch You of Thousand Eyes. So this was the Thousand Eyes that came down the very first turn of the game, right? And it has just lived forever. It has changed side of the board. Like, what, 1, 2, 3? This is the third time this has changed possession, assuming the Snatch Seal resolves. It's just so... I feel like you never see Thousand Eyes live this long, right? We even had Ring on a Sinister Serpent to protect it at some point. It could have just died right then. But no, it's sticking around, causing this multi-turn stalemate. Ooh, and then Goat the Spicy having a really nice combo here, though, with Snatch Steal plus Tsukuyomi, not only to, like we saw before, remove the Snatch Steal to make the change of control much more permanent, but it also allows you to reset the Thousand Eyes, get rid of its equip card, and you can start sucking things in. So really, really powerful play here for Goat the Spicy, assuming it resolves, and it's pretty safe considering Royal Decree is on the board. So like normal quick effect outs to this, like Ring of Destruction out of Mexican Stallion, are not available at this point in time, or like Raigeki Break. Before you flip the Thousand Eyes face up, might as well get in for some damage. Don't have to worry about Mirror Force, of course, because of the Decree. And MST has already been used as well, which is one of the few non-trap answers to Decree in people's main decks. Breaker will go kill the Serpent, and Suk will get in for 11. So nice little damage pressure here. Ooh, Mexican Stallion is going to go book the Tsukuyomi to prevent it from... so likely they must have like a second knock in hand. So they want to break up the Suk plus Thousand Eyes combo by flipping it face down, not allowing it to go back to Goat the Spicy's hand. And so then they can knock it on their next turn and prevent this value engine from continuing. It also is a pretty nice clock here for Goat the Spicy, which is very, very relevant when we are on a deck out clock. So removing a lot of damage from Goat the Spicy's board is pretty nice here as well. So nice book there. Mexican Stallion running at least double book in the main, but definitely is quite a solid card in Goat Control, especially. And it ups your spell count for when you're running Triple Faith plus Demok. So definitely makes sense from that perspective. Also, I feel like Cyberjar plus Demog is a nice little synergy there as well, because Cyberjar will naturally get you lots of monsters on the board that you can then tribute for the Demog. There might be something there as well. Main phase 2, we are going to go flip summon the Thousand Eyes. So just adding this Floodgate back to the board, making Mexican Stallion less likely to set their own stuff in the way of this. And this is just stuck around for forever still. Sinister will come back to the hand. Just going to pass turn. Stalemate is totally fine here for Goat the Spicy. So interesting that Mexican Stallion doesn't seem to have knock for this Suk, but by Goat the Spicy flipping their Thousand Eyes face up, there's no way that it can get the Thousand Eye or the Suk back in their hand without like a Book of Moon of their own to flip the Thousand Eyes back face down. So Goat the Spicy actually removed the need for Mexican Stallion to remove the Suk by flipping the Thousand Eyes face up. I guess they were worried about, potential monsters coming down that could answer their board, but it broke up their own pretty powerful combo here. So interesting choice to flip that up, especially when they are the ones on the race to deal damage at this point in time for fear of deck out. Let's see what their plan is, though. We're going to go Abyss Soldier. Wow, okay, so Chaos Control with Abyss Soldier and Golem Sentry. You think they might run into, like, Light Dark issues to go for Chaos, but they've had Chaos live since, like, the second turn of the game, so maybe not. And we know they have the Sinister Serpent in hand to go for this, and maybe finally the Thousand Eyes will be removed here. Not from being destroyed. It actually won't die, but it might just get sent back to the fusion deck, which would be kind of funny. Oh, we're going to go bounce back. Oh, that's really cute. Okay, we're going to go Abyss Soldier, bounce back our own Tsukuyomi to turn the combo back on. That's really smart out of Goat the Spicy. Won't be able to deal any damage this turn, but setting up for the Suk Loop with a lot of attack on board and Royal Decree to protect it, this might be a winning combination here for Goat the Spicy. Finding a pretty nice use for the Abyss Soldier that I honestly haven't seen before. But this is pretty cool and really nice line out of them. Now Mexican Stallion is under a ton of pressure, and they're still under Royal Decree. We're going to get End-Phase Scapegoat here out of Mexican Stallion, so maybe setting up... We know that they have a Metamorphosis in hand that they bounced back forever ago with this Magician of Faith. So saying, okay, now that I'm actually under pressure, now it's time to actually go and try and lock down the board on my own with the Thousand Eyes. There is Tsukuyomi in hand for Goat the Spicy to blow up your own Thousand Eyes, which could be a little bit scary, but maybe recognizing that even if their own Thousand Eyes dies, they need to try and remove some attack from Goat the Spicy's board, otherwise they'll be in a rough scenario. So the Goat tokens will hit the board. Likely we'll see the meta here. On their own turn, Sinister coming back as well. We're going to Heavy Storm first, killing double Royal Decree. Okay, so Goat the Spicy, interestingly setting double Decree here, and unfortunately they're just going to get blown out by Heavy Storm. No back row here for Mexican Stallion to worry about. Now all of the traps that they might be running are live again. And Goat the Spicy potentially would have wanted to have another Decree available, but it's just going to get blown up by this Heavy Storm. Meta's going to come through as expected. Thousand Eyes will hit the board. Interesting to see what they choose to suck. Depends on if you have an out to the Tsukuyomi or not, I guess. Otherwise, you probably want to remove the... I think probably highest priority is you remove the Abyss Soldier. Right, just because so you break up the Abyss plus Serpent Lock or combo. And that's what'll come through. Definitely makes sense. Set a back row. Oh, and we're gonna go Swords of Revealing Light to protect from the Tsukuyomi. You don't always see Swords main deck, but definitely can be good, especially if your game plan is to just deck out your opponent. So now this is 3 turns that Go the Spicy can't make any progress on the life points. They have to get through 1,000 Eyes. And 3 Goat tokens and a set monster. So that's a pretty tall order to do with only 9 cards left in deck. So we're really going to need to see like a Heavy Storm or something out of Goat the Spicy. Otherwise, this might be a little bit tough for them. We're going to get Ring here in the draw phase. Ah, okay, yeah. So one thing I forgot to mention was Mexican Stallion did need an out to this Thousand Eyes, of course. In order for them to not have their own monster sucked in, but we do just have the Ring, which now is live thanks to both of these decrees being gone. And so we're going to get Ring on the Thousand Eyes to remove the big threat remaining on Goat the Spicy's board. So now it's just this leftover breaker. Tsukuyomi is dealt with by the swords, and it's basically a self-enforced stalemate here for Mexican Stallion once more. I mean, they can actually make progress as well now that this Thousand Eyes is gone. Suddenly their Thousand Eyes with the Abyss is live and pressuring. And so this was a really, really nice sequence of events here for Mexican Stallion, picking apart this board, waiting for Goat the Spicy to assemble some sort of combo to pressure them, but they just had so many answers ready. They had Scapegoat plus Meta, they had Ring, they had Swords, all to answer Goat the Spicy as soon as they had a modicum of offense ready to go. And yeah, it's just going to be a crazy uphill battle here for Goat the Spicy to make any progress now, especially this late into the game. They do have Sinister coming through. Let's see what the play is. Really thinking hard here. It's gonna go. We're gonna go meta in 2,000 Eyes of their own Sinister for the free tribute fodder, and let's see. You probably suck in the set, I guess. Oh, we're just gonna summon it and not set anything. So we're trying to goat lock Mexican Stallion here, and just gonna wait out the swords and hope they can go for an Alpha Strike once that's gone, when they'll only have like 5 or 6 cards left in deck. Pretty risky, but if you don't have a main deck out to swords available just yet, you know, maybe not running Heavy Storm, likely not running any Raigeki breaks, maybe not main decking MST, could just be really tough. We're going to go, oh, and Mexican Stallion is going to go for deck out here even sooner. We're going to go set a card that you want to save from the card D, and then activate it and force Goat the Spicy to essentially mill 4 without or Serpent in hand here as well to make the card destruction free is pretty nice. Really good time to use it as well when Goat the Spicy has the Sinister engraved, so they don't actually plus off of this. Although maybe you would have preferred the Sinister to actually be in hand to get them one card closer to deck out. Kind of hard to say, but either way, the clock here for Goat the Spicy has increased pretty dramatically. This also gets rid of probably the lone Tsukuyomi in deck. Ooh, it gets rid of a Chaos Sorcerer, which was never summoned for forever, despite Chaos being live. Goat the Spicy might regret that one. Tribe hitting the... Oh my god, and Premature Burial. So many powerful cards from Goat the Spicy hitting the grave here off of this card destruction. And I guess their plan was to just slow roll under the swords for a while and keep all of these high-value cards in hand. But just getting blown out here by this card destruction, removing so many of the strongest cards in their deck at breaking through boards like this for Mexican Stallion. And I'm going to be really impressed if Goat the Spicy can win from here, because it is not looking good, especially after this card D activation. Second turn of swords here. Goat the Spicy now has 3 cards left in deck after drawing for turn. They can regrab that Sinister Serpent, but still needs to find a way to make progress, otherwise they're just going to deck out. We're going to 1,000 Eyes suck in the set monster. It is a Morphing Jar, so yeah, Mexican Stallion on a little bit of double jar action. I guess not too surprising, if they're also main decking Cyber Jar. Generally, you play both in most decks. Heavy Storm is going to come out here for Goat the Spicy, so they either didn't have it... Oh, I guess they must have drawn it off of the card destruction. So now that they found their back removal, it's like, okay, now I need to actually make a push. Gonna be tough, though, without Sork, without Tribe, without Tsukuyomi. Still have to answer this 1,000 Ice Floodgate effect from the opponent. Let's see, though. Heavy Storm's gonna come through, wipe out everything. You can reactivate 1,000 Eyes, right? This isn't once per turn. Oh, no, this is once per turn. So unless... I guess you can do it twice in a turn if you, like, flipped it face down with Book or Tsukuyomi. But this is actually one of those scenarios where you can't, because it's been face up the whole time. Okay, BLS is going to come down. Can't attack just yet. Still need to get rid of the 1,000 Eyes, and your own 1,000 Eyes, actually. Banish the opponents, sure. We're going to Abyss Soldier, bounce back the 1,000 Eyes. Oh, we're going to bounce back the BLS? Interesting. I feel like you would want to bounce back the 1,000 Eyes so you can start attacking, right? Unless we have a different way of outing it. Surely we're not just going to BLS banish the 1,000 Eyes, right? No. Okay. But we're going to meta the BLS into Gatling Dragon? Wow, what a line here. But how are we outing our own 1,000 Eyes? That is the golden question. Gatling Dragon. Wow, so we went summon BLS, banish something. Summon BLS, bounce it with Abyss Soldier. Summon BLS again to banish something. Then meta the BLS into Gatling Dragon to try and clear out the remainder of these Goat tokens. Wow, what a turn. Double Tails, though. Not Triple Tails, the worst Gatling Dragon of all time. And you still have to out your 1,000 Eyes. Oh, and you're just going to pass? Oh, man. I mean, I guess next turn you can always go Abyss Soldier, bounce the 1,000 Eyes if you really need to. But the fact that you weren't able to deal any damage last turn is kind of a shame. Double Abyss Soldier in the main is kind of sweet, though, out of Goat the Spicy. Let's see. Mexican Stallion. Goat the Spicy kind of laid all their cards on the table here, almost literally, right? They only have a single card left in hand. But is it going to be enough? Just need to survive a few turns. Graceful out of Mexican Stallion is really nice. Discard Serpent and Night Assailant with lots of juicy flips in the grave to get. Going to choose to bounce back Magician of Faith. Definitely makes sense with lots of high-value spells in grave. Definitely seems to be the theme of this deck. We got third Metamorphosis here. I guess maybe just the second. No, this is third Metamorphosis to come through. Summon out 1,000 Eyes once again. Steal the Gatling Dragon. We're going to Book of Moon the Abyss Soldier. And then knock it to prevent this 1,000 Eyes from getting bounced back to the hand. So we're just going full on... Wow, yeah, really interesting. Set a monster pass here as well. We're just saying, you know what? There's no way you're going to be able to kill me in 3 turns. I'm just going to remove every single one of your monsters, break up the Abyss Soldier combo once again. And yeah, your 1,000 Eyes has an activation, but it's not going to be able to threaten me at all, because whichever monster you pick, it will still have 0 attack, and you only have 2 cards left in deck. Pot of Greed, just to draw, and that's going to be game 1. Wow. Yeah, so that's game 1 there to Mexican Stallion. We got a little bit of Chaos Control versus Goat Control action, so hope you guys are strapped in. This might be a long one. And Mexican Stallion playing for... It really felt like they were playing for deck out from very, very early on in the game, and it just worked out perfectly. Goat the Spicy went for a really, really interesting line there in kind of the pivotal turn where they went for double summon BLS with a little bit of Abyss Soldier, and then meta into Gatling Dragon shenanigans. And yes, their Gatling Dragon whiffed, but I feel like there's probably something better you could have done there with removing your own Thousand Eyes, or either with the BLS banish or with the Abyss Soldier bounce, so that you could have actually attacked that turn. Because even if the Gatling Dragon hit both those Goat tokens, you still weren't getting in for damage that turn because your Thousand Eyes was still on the board. And then Mexican Stallion just cleaned it up from there, and Golden Spicy had no way back to deal any damage. They will be able to go first here in game 2. They'll lead out with Pot of Greed into Upstart, which is a really nice opening. However, it does put them quite far behind. I feel like we need to start talking about deck out really early based on how clear that's exactly what Mexican Stallion is playing for in this match. So the deck thinning out of Turbo-like decks, maybe not the best thing here. Just need to be able to find some offense pretty early on, which might be tough in a deck that's like built around Golem Sentry. This is one of those less... Yeah, Upstart Goblin is one of those cards that you don't always see in Chaos Control, because honestly the deck struggles to deal 8,000 damage to the opponent sometimes, let alone 9 or 10,000. And especially when your flex monster of choice is Golem Sentry, it makes it kind of hard. I mean, I guess you have Abyss Soldier on the other side of things to be a little bit more aggressive as well. So going all in on the tempo side of things with Abyss Soldier plus Golem Sentry is kind of... It's a cool concept, but I wonder how effective it is, I guess, is my point here. Go the Spicy, gonna set a monster at the start here. Up a card thanks to the pot. So decent start. Graceful here for Mexican Stallion, though, is quite nice. We're going to go Graceful, discard Demok and Jinzo. Wow, so 2 big haymakers. Is this Reasoning Gate that I'm watching? But two big haymakers in the grave. We know Mexican Stallion runs at least Call of the Haunted in their deck. So 2 pretty massive targets there already. We're going to knock this set, so no spies available for Go the Spicy this game. Yep. And then just going to set there, having used knock to kind of deal with all the tempo. Go the Spicy still up a card, though. Graceful, not really getting too much raw card advantage value for Mexican Stallion, but obviously dumping your resurrection targets into the grave and seeing 3 new cards is always really nice. Graceful is really a bad card to use, right? Go the Spicy on a bit of a lead here, though. Gonna go T-set pass. So behind the tempo, thanks to the knock, but has a card to spare, so probably fine. We're gonna get Magician of Faith coming through here for Mexican Stallion. Be interested to see if they grab knock just to keep this tempo advantage alive, or regrab Graceful. Both are pretty good options. Going to depend on what's in your hand, and if you actually have things you want to discard. Graceful will be the choice. We're going to go meta into Thousand Eyes, and then chain MST on the back row. Okay, so hitting Torrential, making this Thousand Eyes play a lot safer. Thousand Eyes will come through, suck in the set monster, stealing a Golem Sentry. One day we'll see a Golem Sentry resolve. But it's just funny that every single time Go the Spicy has set one, it's gotten sucked in by a Thousand Eyes. Just going to pass there, holding the Graceful in hand. But I guess you didn't need knock if you did have the meta play to answer the set monster. So just holding Graceful until you find good discard fodder is probably fine. Just hope it doesn't get sniped by Duo or anything. That'd be pretty catastrophic. Just draw pass here for Go the Spicy. No need to do anything at this point in time, because still a stalemate on the board with this Thousand Eyes. Mexican Stallion will add a back row pass. Go the Spicy has Thunder Dragon here. Okay. So thinning the deck a little bit more. Not always advisable. And lots of cards in hand. So going to need to commit something to the board unless they want to have to discard a bunch. We're going to go Tribe. Now that we have discard fodder for it. Tribe, use priority, kill the Thousand Eyes, calling Spellcaster. And now we'll start beating in. So this is really nice out of Goat the Spicy. Definitely recognizing, sure, you're playing Chaos Control, but I feel like this is one of the few matchups against like a Goat Control that's hell-bent on decking you out, where you actually need to be the one applying pressure more here. Not a situation that Chaos Control often finds itself in, but it's definitely the way to go here, I think. And Tribe's going to start clocking Mexican Stallion. No back row to protect it, but at least you got some value out of it with clearing out that Thousand Eyes, so definitely totally fine. Ooh, Mexican Stallion just going to slam down BLS, has Light Dark Engrave, and doesn't even need to banish one of their premature targets right now, because the Thousand Eyes will just act as the Dark. And Thousand Eye or BLS is going to go in and do a bunch of damage. Now, interesting that they're going offensive here. I mean, this is a lot of damage, right? This is 4,400 damage very, very quickly. However, we do know that Goat Spicy is on Premature Burial. Makes a lot of sense when they are, of course, running Abyss Soldier, right? So, not dealing with the Tribe potentially permanently, and it is obviously one of the best cards in the deck to out BLS. So I wonder if Mexican Stallion could have played it a little bit slower, banished the Tribe. We'll see if they get punished for it, though. And this is a lot of damage. And, you know, I always love getting offensive, so I'm not going to complain too much. It's hard to pass up dealing 4,400 damage for free, essentially, especially with no back row from the opponent. Goat the Spicy now is facing down this BLS, though. It is a nice 2-turn clock. Got a lot of cards in hand, though. Only one is the Thunder Dragon, so decent chance you have an out to this. We're going to fire off the Heavy Storm, chaining Book of Moon to set down the BLS. So playing into Knock, but playing around Sork, playing around Tribe. I guess not really playing around Sork because there's no Darks Engrave. But playing around Tribe, playing around Premature for the Tribe, and playing around Snatch Steal is pretty nice. But maybe we'll just see Knock, of course. Go the Spicy, thinking about it. We're just going to go, we're going to go set a Breaker. So they must have had Chaos in their hand as well. We're going to go set Breaker, meta it into likely Darkfire Dragon. The body that's left behind doesn't really matter. This is one of those rarely seen, but definitely solid uses of Metamorphosis. Gets you a Light or Dark in the grave when you need it. And so Darkfire Dragon will hit the board, and likely a Chaos Monster here as well. All right. Oh, we're going to go Creature Swap. That's cute. Are we going to Creature Swap and summon Chaos here again as well? This is pretty neat. So Darkfire Dragon hitting the board and then immediately getting sent over to Mexican Stallion side of the field, but BLS secured is pretty nice. Can't use it this turn because Creature Swap prevents it from changing its battle position, but we're going to have BLS of Goat the Spicy's come down here as well. And how often do you see this? Double BLS on Goat the Spicy's side of the board here. No Snatch Steal required either. And getting it for damage here is totally fine. No reason at this point to keep the dark side of the grave. And let's be real. Well, actually, no, it's your own Darkfire Dragon anyway. Yes, you definitely want to hit the grave, so you have Chaos turned on here again. So this is the perfect time to attack with BLS. You actually want this back in your own grave. And you get it hit in for 4,500 damage and pass with lethal on board. And wow, what a crazy turn of events here. Both players going for early BLSs, but when that's the case, usually whoever plays the second BLS is probably going to be in a pretty good spot. And Goat the Spicy here now has both bearing down on Mexican Stallion, who, you know, is playing a control deck, likes to grind these one out, but this might be actually a very, very quick game too. Graceful is going to have to get fired off here. Mexican Stallion was holding on to that for a rainy day. Now facing lethal on board, we'll see if they actually have any discard fodder for it, or if they're just forced to use it to try and find an answer to double BLS. Discard, discard 2 Thunder. Oh no, they drew double Thunder Dragon off of the Graceful. That sucks. That's so bad. How often do you see that? Man. I mean, it does get Chaos live, but one Chaos isn't enough because you have 2 BLSs to answer. Yikes. Okay. We're going to get Sangan crash into the BLS. You'll take 2,000 damage. Going down to 900 to search up Sinister Serpent? What is the play here? Oh, and we're going to Swords of Revealing Light to try and buy the time. With the back row, Sinister in hand. For what? Really interesting play there. But if Goat the Spicy just has MST or something to do with the swords, this is probably just GG. Let's see, though. Set a back row, so no after the swords just yet. BLS in attack position, sure. Love seeing double BLS on the board. Pretty fun. Mexican Stallion gonna go. Oh, okay. So they had meta in hand, so they grabbed Sinister to get the free metamorphosis fodder, so we can go into Thousand Eyes. That's pretty nice. Is there an out to this? No. So the BLSs are gonna get traded off. What a shame. They're gonna hit the grave. Still a nice little stalemate here now with this Thousand Eyes. BLSs both hit the grave though. Goat the Spicy has 900 damage left to deal though, which is a lot better position than they were in last game once they were already in stalemate position. Really interesting stuff here. Second turn of swords. Just going to set up, no reason to do anything. Just wait out the swords. You'll be up a card at the end of it. Not bad. Sinister comes through for Mexican Stallion. Just going to set a monster pass. Definitely could be the Sinister, of course. Last turn of swords for Goat the Spicy. Just going to pass. And you successfully waited it out. Gotten a little +1 there. We'll see if this was long enough for Mexican Stallion to draw enough to come back into this game, though. Gonna set another monster here. Still some stalemate action. Goat the Spicy is going to... We're gonna snatch the Thousand Eyes. I like where this is going. I love it when, like we saw in game 1, if Thousand Eyes bounces control a million times in a game, they can be pretty interesting ones. We're gonna have chain book, though. Okay, so second book being used here to protect the Thousand Eyes from the Snatch Steal. Now, however, this does turn the Floodgate effect off, though, so if Goat the Spicy has any monster in hand, they can go and kill the Thousand Eyes if they so choose. On the other side of things, though, this also means that Mexican Stallion can flip up their 2 monsters if they want. So, interesting choices here. Premature is going to come out, and there is a little Blackluster Soldier in the grave as a premature burial target, which would be pretty nice for Goat the Spicy. No back row here to worry about, so BLS is going to come back. We're going to Raigeki Break deal with one of the new sets, which is Night Assailant, a nice thing to get rid of when you have BLS on board. And now BLS is going to attack over both of them. Or we're going to knock the new one. Ooh, what a combo. Oh, and this is GG. There you go. Wow. So we had Raigeki Break to deal with one set, Knock to deal with the other, and then the winning attack is just BLS kill the Thousand Eyes, and then attack in for game. So really nice game 2 here from Goat the Spicy, being one of the few people in Goat format history to say that they've controlled 2 BLSs at the same exact time without having to use a Snatch Steal. Some pretty cool plays there in the middle, especially with a little bit of like Darkfire Dragon action. Every time Darkfire Dragon hits the board, you know you're in for a good one, right? And they're going to take down game 2 here in very quick fashion compared to game 1. Seems like Mexican Stallion's deck is built a little bit to go for a little bit more grindy, long deck-out games, whereas Goat the Spicy, as we saw last game, the onus is on them to be a little bit more offensive. Game 3, though, Mexican Stallion will be able to go first. They're going to lead out with a T-set pass, so no Trinity stuff, but still not a bad opening. Goat the Spicy has a set monster of their own, so Mexican Stallion very much up the tempo here. We'll see how they choose to use it. They're going to go set 2 back row and then flip a Morphing Jar, so they're going to get a nice little +2 off of this. Goat the Spicy having a full hand of cards, so just wheeling for a little bit. And Mexican Stallion going to get some solid card advantage. Ooh, really, really nice. Ooh, this is an insane Morphing Jar. You get to discard, you get to get Demok in the grave for potential Call of the Haunted shenanigans later on. And you get to discard Night Assailant plus a flip to bounce that back. So this is huge advantage here for Mexican Stallion resolving this Morphing Jar. And they are off to a very, very solid lead here early on in the game. Goat the Spicy, let's see what they discard. Some good stuff. Abyss Soldier, Snatch, Swords, Asura Priest, Premature. Interesting that they're running Swords of Revealing Light. I feel like that might be a little bit of a miscalculation in terms of what your deck actually wants to do against Mexican Stallion's deck. I mean, it can be useful tactically, but you don't want to, like, if you're in a position where Mexican Stallion's deck is attacking you a lot, you've probably already lost the game, right? So I don't see what Swords is doing here. So honestly, you're probably happy with that hitting the grave. Losing Premature and Snatch Steal does kind of suck a little bit, but honestly, the hand wasn't that great, so it's actually probably kind of fine. Despite you going down cards, it's not the end of the world. Mexican Stallion will be able to re-grab that Magician of Faith, of course, thanks to the Night Assailant effect, and they are in a very good position here. Let's see what the follow-up is. Found Thunder Dragon off of the Morphing Jar. Nice, so thin the deck a little bit there. And we're going to go knock the set, hitting Spy. Spy has gotten knocked every game so far. I've not seen Goat the Spicy able to use it yet. Clears the way for Morphing Jar to beat in for 700. Nice little clock there as well. And then we've got Swords of Revealing Light out of Mexican Stallion here as well. Now that you're up a couple cards, I mean, you're not really under too much pressure, but maybe wanting to set up for a little bit more Morphing Jar fun, potentially. Gonna set a monster here as well. Maybe that's the idea, is you just really want this flip to resolve on good terms, so let's protect it with the swords. Either way, they'll go with the Spicy definitely on the back foot here. Lots of card advantage coming through here for Mexican Stallion. Oh, so they are running Thunder Dragon. Interesting. Go the Spicy, gonna fire off Thunder Dragon of their own, so both players have 2 TDs in hand. First one to cash those in. Gonna be in a pretty good spot. We're gonna get Breaker here, so finally having an out to Swords if they choose to use it. Yep. Swords will hit the grave, set a couple back row, kill the Morphing Jar. I guess you want to set some back row before this in case Mexican Stallion has a little Book of Moon up their sleeve, which we know they play multiples of, so I like being prepared for this. And Jar's just going to hit the grave, so no Book of Moon shenanigans coming through. I guess setting the 2 back row means that even if Stallion did have the book available, they wouldn't want to use it in this scenario because it'll be card advantage minus for them. So nice play there for Go the Spicy, potentially playing around that. And getting a little bit of damage in, dealing with the threat. Solid use of Breaker there. Nice little plus in card advantage as well. Gonna pass turn there with the Breaker still on the board. We're gonna get Tribute for Thunder Dragon here on Mexican Stallion. Tributing over a Sangan, so it's for free. You have a monster on board that's equal in size to the Breaker, which is nice. And we know that there are a lot of spicy Sangan targets in Mexican Stallion's deck, so interested to see what they grab. Sinister, of course, really nice when you're running triple Metamorphosis, plus Graceful Charity. And we're just going to crash into the Thousand Eyes, or crash into the Breaker, but Mirror Force is going to come through here for Go the Spicy. Okay. I am not a huge fan of playing Mirror Force and Swords post-side against this list out of Mexican Stallion. I feel like you don't get a lot of value out of this. Especially as you're playing Decree, like a lot of the time Mirror Force is just going to be dead. I mean, maybe you side Decree out against Mexican Stallion's list because they don't seem to be running as many traps either. And, you know, maybe it's a Mirror Force barely makes the cut as the 55th card or something. But surely, yeah, I don't know. Seems like a poor usage of your side deck slots, in my opinion. Either way, I mean, in this scenario, it is going to nicely protect your Breaker to keep a clock on board, which is nice. But, like, if your best use case for Mirror Force is killing a Thunder Dragon, it's like, okay, could be a different card, right? Either way, though, Breaker stands alone, can start beating in. Scapegoat is going to come through here in the battle phase to protect Mexican Stallion's life points. Definitely pretty expected at this point in time. Not too bad. And Breaker is going to kill one of them, not going for a little bit of Goat Lock action. I think that makes sense. You want to whittle down your opponent as fast as you can if you're Goat the Spicy. Going to pass turn. We got Bluff Set meta there. That's a little cute. But we're going to go into Thousand Eyes, steal the Breaker, start beating in here for Mexican Stallion. Not bad. That will go through. And now Goat the Spicy is getting clocked here. All right. And we've got main phase 2 Delinquent Duo as well. Interesting. I feel like you might as well have just duoed first before you revealed that you had Metamorphosis. Oh, maybe the idea is you wanted to like bait out a Raigeki break potentially because you had Bluff Set meta. Yeah, you had Bluff Set meta, so you don't want to like duo and then like maybe they really want to chain Raigeki break or something, pop the meta because then it's unchainable potentially, maybe. I feel like generally it's good to just use duo first, though. Not really. I guess it's fine. Duo is going to come out here, though. They hit a tribe, and likely we'll see Thunder Dragon hit the grave as well. That's another thing here as well, is using duo when your opponent has double TD in hand is never amazing. But that is going to hit the board here for Mexican Stallion. You do rip out at least one real card in the tribe, which is quite nice against your board, so that'll feel good that you hit that. And you get to pressure in with this Thousand Eyes with the Breaker attached. And a set monster here as well. So Mexican Stallion in a very, very good spot here. resolving duo, having 1,000 eyes with an actual attack value here. Looking pretty good so far here in game 3. Go the Spicy, not out of it just yet, though. Just going to draw pass. Mirror Force is gone. Ooh, Heavy Storm's going to come through. Interesting. So it actually was Raigeki Break. Okay, so yeah. Raigeki Break here from Go the Spicy. Holding it for quite a while, but now I guess using it... Popping the set? Okay, hitting Magician of Faith. That's really nice. Okay, so if Mexican Stallion's play was to go for something like this, where they could go duo Faith into duo, then it doesn't matter that you hit the Thunder Dragon first, right? Because now the Thunder Dragons are out of the hand, so the second duo is really good. So I think Goat the Spicy maybe recognizing that that was definitely a real threat here, and smartly Raigeki breaking the Faith to prevent that coming through. Now they are still a sitting duck. Well, actually, interesting Heavy Storm usage out of Mexican Stallion. Because it blows up your own Thousand Eyes clock with nothing to suck in. So, like, my thought is if you want to be using Heavy Storm to clear out back row to make Thousand Eyes live again, you probably want to do it when it actually has a target. But the play here is likely that they wanted to remove their Thousand Eyes to go for the Faith flip play here. And honestly, this might be a really nice read here from Goat the Spicy, seeing that they probably only want to go for the Heavy Storm in this scenario if they really want to, use this flip monster. And so they're probably removing their Thousand Eyes anyway, which is why they don't care about removing its equipment when there's no other targets on board. So smartly using their Raigeki Break on the set, recognizing that it was probably a pretty massive threat in this scenario, and getting rewarded by hitting this Magician of Faith with some very juicy stuff engraved, notably the Delinquent Duo. So nice play there out of Goat the Spicy. And now Mexican Stallion is left with a Thousand Eyes Restrict with no equipment. There is a Thunder Dragon in hand if they just want to go Tribute over that to start beating in. But compared to what the plan for this turn was originally, this is pretty underwhelming. So well played there from Goat the Spicy. Still under a good amount of pressure. I mean, Thunder Dragon attacking every turn is still pretty scary, but a lot better than, being under assault from another Delinquent Duo. So nice play there. Still have a lot of work to do to get back into this game, but I like the way that was sequenced out. Go the Spicy is going to set a back row here. Cool. So needs to deal with this Thunder Dragon. It's just going to keep whittling them down. Take another 16, drop down to 2,500. It's getting a little bit scary. If this set is Scapegoat, you probably still take one hit there. Generally, I feel like when you have Scapegoat, it's good to use it to... You don't want to just wait until it's the lethal blow. You want to use it to save as much life points as possible. So basically, you want to use it before you're down to less than 1,600 life. But you don't need to use it before then, right? So you can afford to take that hit last turn, even if you have Scapegoat set here, because the next Scapegoat activation next turn would still block a full 1,600. But if you wait 2 turns, then you're not getting max value in terms of the damage block. Gonna set a back row, cool. Pot of Greed from Mexican Stallion is really nice. Gonna beat in with this this Thunder Dragon, and yeah, as expected, Goat the Spicy did have the Scapegoat here to wall out. Nice play there. Gonna kill one of them. Mexican Stallion on full aggression here, which definitely makes sense. They smell blood. The opponent's at 2,500. So might as well pressure as much as you can. Another set monster here to worry about as well, with lots of really good stuff in Grave. Cyberjar is also a real card as well to worry about. We're going to get meta from Goat the Spicy into Thousand Eyes. Do you steal the Thunder Dragon or do you steal the set monster? Probably the set monster if you don't have any other outs for it. Gonna steal the Thunder Dragon, though. We're going to get Book of Moon to flip the Thousand Eyes face down, though. That nifty little book here getting a lot of value for Mexican Stallion throughout this match. Really using it to maximum extent, stymieing a lot of what Goat the Spicy is going for. Goat the Spicy does, as expected, when you choose to Thousand Eyes the Thunder Dragon, I feel like that signifies that you have a different out in mind to the set monster. So we're going to go knock DD Warrior Lady, which is fine. Not the end of the world. Thousand Eyes is a sitting duck here, unless one of these other back row is real, though. See if Thunder Dragon will continue to get value here. We're going to go Premature for Mexican Stallion. Oh, on DMOC. Prima on DMOC, really strong. If this resolves, going to look pretty bad here for Goat the Spicy. What do we have? It's going to resolve. Oof. And we've got Knock, we've got Heavy, we've got Pot, we've got Duo. Probably just grab pot here, right? Yeah, pot going back into the hand. Things are looking really good for Stallion at this point in time. Resolving double pot, you've got Demock on board. Demock can go kill the Thousand Eyes. Thunder Dragon can kill a goat token. And you're passing with lethal on board because you got Thunder Dragon, kill the goat token, Demock attacking for game. Goat the Spicy so far behind at this point in time. Looking really, really good here for the Stallion. Ooh, top deck Pot of Greed, though, is a nice way to get back into this game. We're going to get Ring here on the Demock going for game. All right, Goat the Spicy, do you have Book of your own? Do you have, like, Raigeki Break to deal with the Demock? We got Raigeki Break on the Demock to save that. Okay, nice play there. So you live to see another day. You have to discard your Heavy Storm, but it is a 2 for 2, right? Because you get Ring and Demock for Raigeki Break and Storm. And then you also get Pot to refill your hand. So you're still quite far behind, but you don't lose immediately, at least. Not bad. Then we're going to go set a back row pass. Sure. Mexican Stallion's got Sinister. Okay, this is a nice clock. Sinister is free aggression here. Ooh, but we're going to Torrential. Yeah, okay. So it's not the end of the world for Mexican Stallion because they're, all they lose is, they lose a Sinister, which they'll just get back. But this does remove the Thunder Dragon, and it's a nice little tempo win for Goat the Spicy because the normal summon is already used here for Mexican Stallion. So staying alive here as best they can. Had the Raigeki Break to deal with the ring play, has Torrential here to wipe the board again. Stallion will have to rebuild. You're still up a million cards, but Goat the Spicy hanging on for as long as possible. Pass turn, Goat the Spicy. Do we have a threat or anything? Duo of your own, dropping down to 1,500, but ring is gone, so it's a little bit less scary. See what they can rip out. If you got to use it right now, of course, because Sinister is in grave. All the Thunder Dragons are gone here as well. One Night Assailant gone, so good time to use Duo, despite it being scary, life point-wise. You hit Knock, which is nice. And Stallion. Oh, they do have the second Night Assailant, though, so they can bounce back something pretty juicy to their hand. Faith is obviously really good here. Probably you just grab the Faith. I don't think you need the other Night Assailant. I don't think you need Morphing Jar this late in the game. Probably just bounce the Faith back to hand. Plenty of Lights Engrave as well. Okay, you're going to bounce the other Night Assailant. Okay. Maybe he's setting up for a big card destruction or something. Knock gone, though, which is nice. 2 Knocks gone. And we haven't seen any mind controls out of Stallion at all this match. So if Goat the Spicy has like a Faith of their own, that could be a way back into this game. Ooh, we're going to go... We got BLS in hand, though. Cool. All right, so 2-turn clock if this resolves. Get in for 3K. All right. Drop Stallion down to 2,300, and you get to pass with lethal on board. So you're down a million cards, but if you only have 2 cards left, BLS being one of them, is pretty solid. And Stallion now back up a little bit against the wall. We'll see if they have any good outs to this, or if this is just the end. Very pivotal turn here. Tribe is coming down. Really nice. Using Cryo. So getting the Night Assailant to get free discard fodder for the Tribe definitely makes sense. Oh, Goat the Spicy has a ring on the BLS to go for the tie, though? Is this going to resolve? And it does. Wow, okay, so Goat the Spicy really digging deep there. Here in Game 3 to force a draw. Surviving an attempted lethal with Stallion's own ring and hanging on long enough to set up ring for a tie with their own BLS. And forcing a Game 4 here. Really crazy stuff. But some really nice play there from Goat the Spicy, basically behind the entire game. But found some really nice place to stay in it long enough and was able to force this draw. And that was a crazy game. Wow. Oof. Now we'll go to Game 3, or Game 4 here. Goat the Spicy is going to win the RPS and go first. This is for all the marbles, folks. Leading out with Pot of Greed, really, really solid. Into just a back row, though. So up a card, but nothing really else to push the issue forward. We'll see what Stallion can do. They open Thunder Dragon. And a back row. And they're going to pass. Okay. So neither players... definitely advantage to Goat the Spicy here. Going first and having resolved Pot early. Haven't found the Thunder Dragons yet, but you'd rather have Pot than Thunder Dragon, is my thought. Goat the Spicy is going to go Asura Priest. Okay, so they do have a clock. A very good one against Chaos Control, of course, as well. Asura will get in for 17, and then you'll just pass. Asura gets bounced back to the hand, putting you back up to 7 cards, but they have the Sinister just to discard for free, so not the end of the world. And you're clocking the opponent early on, which is pretty solid. Stallion has Graceful here. Ooh, so equalizing the Pot of Greed card advantage with the classic Graceful plus Thunder Dragon combo. Discard both of them. So card advantage equalized. See if they have a play. Gonna go set a monster, set a back row pass. So now perhaps advantage back into Stallion's court, having resolved that. I feel like Graceful plus Thunder Dragon is definitely a little bit better than just a raw Pot of Greed, because you get to see an extra card, and you get Lights Engrave off of it. Go the Spicy, can re-grab that Serpent. We're going to go Breaker here with a couple back row. We're going to pop a Book of Moon, so that's going to, yeah, Book always coming in clutch for Stallion. Nice little trade there for Breaker. I mean, it is a minus if they can't permanently deal with the Breaker, but it will prevent Breaker from attacking into your set, which is kind of nice. We're going to knock the set anyway, though, hitting Sangan. Okay. So no Sangan searches available here for Stallion. That's actually kind of a big deal because the deck does seem decently, like a lot of their plays seem to revolve around having Serpent available. So the fact that they can't search for it now might be a big deal. And if this Breaker lives, Go the Spicy will be in a very nice position, because then this Book was just like basically a minus. All right, we're going to end phase Scapegoat here out of Stallion, though. Yeah, man, Breaker is just not good against this deck, right? Everything is chainable. Scapegoat's going to come down. Likely we'll see some Metamorphosis action. Stallion, yeah, going for the meta. Do we want to meta suck in the Breaker, though? I mean, it's pretty low impact. 1,000 Eyes, and it's just going to get popped by a ring, so Goat the Spicy keeping their threat on board. Yeah, so I guess Stallion may be kind of forced to go for this to make the fact that they lost their Book not be permanent, but Goat the Spicy has the ring to protect their Breaker for now, and so potentially solidifying that card advantage. A little bit of a gambit there. Ooh, but Stallion's just going to have Tribe come down to kill it. That is a little bit of an extension, though, so still slight win here for Goat the Spicy. Breaker ended up just trading 1-for-1 with the Book of Moon, but you force Stallion to play their Tribe pretty early on in the game, where you actually just using it as a beater to kill the Breaker just to recuperate lost card advantage is not like a very high value usage of the Breaker. So if Goat the Spicy can answer this, that's a pretty big threat dealt with. Ooh, Swords. Okay, so I see why Stallion went for this. They did have Swords to back up their Tribe, keep it alive for a little bit longer. Makes it harder for Goat the Spicy to really commit anything to the board, because anything is at risk of getting blown up by this Tribe. And Swords is a lot safer now that Breaker is gone as well. So nice play there out of Stallion. Kind of forced to do it so that they don't go down a card, but they at least have a nice little configuration here to make that recuperation look a little bit better. First turn of Swords here for Goat the Spicy. Ooh, Heavy Storm's just going to come out, though, and now your Tribe's a sitting duck. Asura... Oh, right, yeah, and we knew that Goat the Spicy had Asura Priest in hand this whole time, right? And so this play is actually super duper risky, because your whole board, you played Scapegoat with no Asura Priest in hand, just to go Tribe, or just to go for 1,000 Eyes, suck in the face down Breaker, and then you had to go for Tribe, kill the Breaker. So really committing tons of resources here to deal with this Breaker, with the only defense against any follow-up play being a Singleton Swords of Revealing Light, which, to be fair, was safer with the Heavy Storm being, or with the Breaker being gone. But you just get absolutely blown out if Goat the Spicy has Heavy or MST. And you know what? Maybe Stallion doesn't have any better plays here, but this is such a blowout. Heavy into Asura Priest, wipe your board, deal some damage. Oof. Really, really nice play here for Goat the Spicy, having the cards needed to just decimate Stallion's board. And yeah, they're just in a really, really solid position here in game 4. Gonna pass turn, Asura will get bounced back. Oh, and Stallion is just going to concede. Okay, we'll see what's in the hand. Oh, just super duper dead, had nothing going for them. Oof. Yeah, just nothing really good. All stuff that loses to Asura Priest, and, you know, turns out this card is pretty solid against control decks, Scapegoat decks in general. So there you have it, 4 games. Goat Spicy taking it down 2-1 with a draw somewhere in the middle there. I guess I don't know to call Stallion's deck. It's running Thunder Dragon, but we didn't see any Sork, so it's kind of a weird like Goat Control, Chaos Control thing. Um, I guess it's probably more just Goat Control that also runs Thunder Dragons because we didn't see any Sork or Chaos Monsters outside of the BLS. But Goat the Spicy here on this Chaos Control list, being forced, I think rightly so, realizing that they need to be the aggressive player in this matchup and siding in lots of good aggressive cards like a Sura Priest and taking it down. It was a very long grind, but some very, very interesting games here with really tight gameplay, I think, from both players. So really, really cool to see. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I will catch you all next time.